people ask me questions related to products that I don't review and why I don't review them. And a specific product, well, let me give you a couple of them. One of them is the Gen Y gooseneck conversion for fifth wheels. And then another one would be the Anderson Ultimate fifth wheel hitch. And I've actually reviewed both of those products, but I haven't personally done follow-ups with it and used it on our personal trailers for some very specific reasons. So pretty much anything that I recommend, I want to know that the manufacturer has done everything they could possibly do, at least within reason, to ensure that it won't cause other types of issues to either the tow vehicle or the trailer that you're using it on, whether it's an RV or a conventional trailer. And there are a lot of products out there that they do testing, but they may not do testing the way that I prefer that testing be done. And oftentimes it's to meet a manufacturer's requirements, to do something the way the manufacturer of the product that you're attaching this accessory to wants it to be done. So, I do a lot of videos with products from Reese and B&W and all of that. And the reason why you see that is because they've demonstrated that they've done a type of testing that is kind of irrefutable. It's testing where they've put things through hundreds of thousands of tortured cycles to ensure that it's not going to fail, at least in a test environment, before they put it on a vehicle or a travel trailer or trailer in general. And I know that there's always ways to over-manufacture stuff. And I believe companies like Gen Y do that. They over-manufacture their products, so the likelihood that there's going to be a failure is extremely slim. Actually, I've seen some of their hitches get, really subjected to torture just because they were involved in an accident where somebody rear-ended a vehicle with a Gen Y, and even the pickup truck the hitch was attached to was pretty much destroyed, but the hitch wasn't. It was left relatively unscathed. So, do I think that their hitch is physically going to fail? Not necessarily. I don't think that that's going to be the issue. My biggest problem, or my biggest concern, is when you create products that attach to somebody else's manufactured product, and it has to provide some type of shock or dampening. Otherwise, the product it's attached to could potentially have an issue, such as the frame of a fifth wheel, right? That upper deck area where you want to make sure that you're not applying too much force. So my only concern with some products are, even though they're probably not likely to break because they've had a significant amount of engineering that's gone into its design, could it potentially cause an issue for the thing you're attaching it to? Now, when it comes to the Anderson Ultimate fifth wheel connection, I actually did a test with one of those. Myself as well as Mr. Truck kind of partnered together, and I actually installed the Anderson fifth wheel hitch in the bed of my truck, and I used it. And the reason why I ended up taking it out and going back to the B&W hitch at the time was because with the Chaparral we had, I had to lift the front nose of the fifth wheel up an additional 4 inches to clear the ball so I could drop it back down. And for me, that was kind of unfeasible because the RV that we had sat kind of low in the back, and it required us to really get the front of it off the ground really high, and I didn't feel comfortable doing that. In terms of its performance, I believe that most folks who use it are pretty happy with it. I do know that there have been some failures, and I believe most of those failures have occurred when a vehicle was involved in some type of an accident or some type of a mechanical failure caused the hitch to overstress itself. For instance, I saw one story where it was a large toy hauler that was being towed using an Anderson fifth wheel connection, and the trailer brakes locked up on the fifth wheel, or the toy hauler, and it was a very large toy hauler, and the owner kept towing, not knowing that had occurred, and that force eventually caused the framework of the Anderson hitch to buckle and to kind of cave in. I've also seen where the ball itself sheared off. I've seen where it's physically been crushed, but I believe that specific image was also from an accident. But again, I haven't seen specifically where it's failed under normal towing applications. And for me, to have a hitch that can withstand normal towing applications but then can also withstand the shock and energy that goes into it whenever there's an accident, is very appealing. Because you never know what's going to happen. You never know when you have to slam the brakes on, make some type of aggressive maneuver to go around something. And when those things occur, you want to have the peace of mind to believe that your hitch isn't going to be the thing that fails. That of every component that you're using, the hitch between your 15 to 20,000 pound fifth wheel is not going to be the point of failure, because we all have heard the weakest link saying, right? The weakest link is the part that you always have to be concerned about. So if the weakest link is my hitch, then I have a problem. If the weakest link is my pin box or my coupler, that's a problem. I would rather the weakest link be something else that has nothing to do with the connection between my truck and my trailer. And that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily say the Anderson hitch is a bad hitch. I know a lot of folks use it. A lot of people love it. They love the fact that it's just a bit over 30 pounds and you can easily remove it when you're not using it. I get that. But I think the challenge for me ultimately is, if something does occur while you're towing, would you like that thing that occurs to be the failure of your hitch? Now, not to say other hitches can't fail. B&W Companion, I've actually seen an instance where the truck and trailer rolled on their side, or at least were about to roll on their side, and the wings that hold up the hitch head of the B&W actually bent, and it caused the fifth wheel to actually disconnect from the truck. So the fifth wheel rolled over, but the truck didn't. And had the wings not bent, both the truck and the fifth wheel would have rolled on their side. And a lot of people have said that that's actually engineered into that fifth wheel hitch, so in the event of a major rollover where the RV is definitely going over on its side, the wing will actually bend and allow the hitch head to come off versus rolling the entire rig over together with the trailer. So I haven't asked B&W. I probably need to ask them if that is actually a true design feature versus just something that happens under, extreme force whenever the trailer's flexing from the truck. But it would be interesting to know, because you don't want that to occur if the trailer's not going to roll over. Basically, if you have a strong enough side wind. But just from the design, it doesn't appear as if that could happen in a non-rollover type event. Anyways, yeah, that's a question I usually get asked, why I haven't reviewed certain things, like the Hensley hitch. The Hensley hitch and the ProPride hitch. I think enough people have commented on the video where I showcased the ProPride product why I don't showcase the Hensley product, because the ProPride is essentially an upgraded version of the Hensley product with the same patents. I also have not reviewed the safety hitch or whatever. I can't even remember what it's called. I probably get 1 or 2 people a month that ask me to review this product. That's essentially a fifth wheel connection, like a small fifth wheel trailer that you then hook your fifth wheel to, and you connect it to the back of your vehicle with a conventional hitch. And it's a pretty cool product. I don't really have any application where I would want to showcase that, because any vehicle other than my truck, which is designed to haul a fifth wheel, that I would use it on, I would be going over the truck's maximum towing capacity rating wise. And even though the safety hitch or whatever it's called is supposedly designed to be able to allow you to do that, I still don't feel comfortable going over the truck's maximum ratings, because if you do have a failure, I don't necessarily believe that your insurance company or an investigator is going to say, hey, because you are using this thing that they claim can go over your truck's towing capacity, that you should have actually been doing it. So as cool as it is, I think it's like $11,000, something like that, and I'm not going to just go and ask to borrow one or use one or rent one or buy one for a video if I don't believe it would be a product that I would use in the future. And that's one of the things I've always committed to you all, is any of the stuff that I do reviews on, I make recommendations on, things like that, would be a product I'd be willing to buy in terms of an accessory, an aftermarket towing accessory, or a component, something like that. So that's the main reason. If I showcased it, it would not be in a way that would be realistic to how somebody might normally buy it and use it for a long period of time. And for me, that's just not a credible review, so I try to avoid that. Anyways, guys, I've pretty much done what I tried to do here, and that was to get all this lowered down. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel. Please leave those comments on both channels. That's where I get those questions that I'm trying to answer on this channel. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Anyways, guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.